Now, air travel may have captured most of the headlines and created most of the fury, but other sectors are affected too. All arrivals must quarantine, so rail and sea passengers are affected as well. Well, Stena Line is one of the largest ferry operators in the world, and it's been deeply affected by restrictions and the grinding to a halt of global travel. It operates ferries across Europe and into the UK. Well, joining me now is Niclas Mårtensson. He is the Chief Executive of Stena Line. Niclas, welcome to you. Do you think there's any logic in this quarantine period?
Good morning, Ian. Thank you for having me here. Well, actually, I'm not a pandemic doctor here, so I think it's important that we actually secure the safety on board our ship. So I'm not really in a position where I can argue against the experts in this question.
But presumably you are concerned about the extent of traffic into the UK as a result of it.
For sure. We've been living with this since mid-March now, and it's a huge drop of both volume and business for the entire industry. And this is, of course, not making it easier. But we heard previously in the two other interviews where we heard about the more targeted measures. And I think actually ferries can be a very good target measure here, where you can come on board the ship isolated in your car. We have huge public areas, we have cabins, and you can actually also go outside and having some fresh air. So I think we are in a very good position from a shipping perspective by being the safest way of traveling for the moment to be.
Now, obviously, you're based in Sweden, where you didn't have as draconian a lockdown as we've had here in the United Kingdom. Have bookings varied from country to country across Europe?
They do. And actually, we can follow the pattern. As quick as a country starts a measure opening up, we can see that the booking pattern is increasing. And we have seen increased travel over the North Sea the last week until, well, last night.
That's reasonably encouraging, I guess. What about in the UK island crossings in particular? What's been happening there?
So it's a common travel area, and there are different measurements everywhere, not only in EU, but also in UK. So operation-wise, it's a big challenge for us now. But we do, as I have said, actually performing in the safest way of traveling right now. And we have huge measurements when it's coming to sanitary cleaning procedures. But also from the 15th of June, within a week, we will also start having face masks, both for our employees and our passengers, where we can't secure the social distancing of, as it is in UK, 2 meters, and in other countries in EU, it's down to 1.5 and sometimes down to 1 as well. So we really need to have to adopt to the local measurements and rules and regulations, depending on where we are transporting our passengers and goods.
Now, during this crisis, you've permanently closed down your Oslo to Friedrichshaven crossing. Are there any other routes that are in jeopardy or under review right now?
Well, actually, we closed another one as well, the route between Germany and Sweden's Trelleborg-Sassnitz. But the other routes where we actually see that there are interest from a passenger perspective, we keep being open. But please keep in mind that we've been open 24/7 during the entire epidemic situation here, to secure the vital supply lines for especially goods. So filling up the grocery stores and medicines in UK has been one of our most important parts during the epidemic here. So we continue 24/7, reduce capacity for sure, but we are still there for you.
Given the role that you play in infrastructure and in services like that, would it be reasonable for you to ask the UK government for support during this period? Have you done so at all?
Well, so there has been a support with the PSO where the government are covering up where there is a very low freight capacity. And that is, of course, something we support the government with, so we can still have the supply lines open, as I said, for supermarkets and pharmacies, especially. But we're not talking about the millions that you have read about. This is a small amount of money where we can secure not to get into profit, but actually to share the risk with the government. So you guys in UK can have food on your table and medicines at the hospitals.
Now, the last time we spoke was in January, which seems like a lifetime ago now, but you were unveiling your new ferries for the Irish sea crossings there. Are those plans still in train?
Of course, of course. We got a second one since we talked, Ian. So we are now operating both with Stena Estrid and Stena Edda, and we're waiting for the third to come in later this year. And we are a committed long-term sustainable company, and we foresee that there will be more crises coming up, and we have a lot of crises behind us as well. But we are there to be a sustainable company across sailing to and from UK in a long time period. So yes, all our investment stays as planned.
All right, Niclas Mårtensson, very good to see you again. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Ian.